What did we do here? Okay, hi guys. I really apologize for that. I really was not sure exactly what was going on there, but I see that we're filling back up here on attendees, so let's give that just a second here. Again, I apologize, and go from there. Okay, great. So you should all be seeing my screen now. Fantastic. Okay, and there's the chat there as well, again, for anybody that cannot hear me properly. And so here we go. Let's get into it. Okay, great. So let's go intro to LocalLine. Perfect. Going to go through a few things, some of which will be a little bit just repeat on what I said and how I introduced myself. But we're going to talk about what LocalLine is and how it works. We're going to talk about what would make you the ideal customer for LocalLine. And I think that where I'm going to focus a little bit on this is less about the existing circumstances of the world, because I think that we all understand why having an online solution is important for right now. I would like to talk about what might make this a good long-term fit. All right, I think that's the main thing that we're after is absolutely there's a need for a short-term solution, but if you can find something that would qualify as a short-term solution as well as a good long-term solution, that would be best, right? So let's think about that. Take you through a LocalLine demo, and then we're going to walk through just a couple success stories so that you guys get a few examples of how other farmers are using LocalLine. We'll go through what the offer from Perennial is, or the agreement, I guess, rather, that we've come to with them. And then, like I said, we will open it up for Q&A. Cool. Okay, so I've introduced myself, so I won't spend too much time here. My name is Cole, founded LocalLine 4.5 years ago, I guess, yes. My background is not in agriculture, actually. I grew up in a city called Mississauga, which is sort of like, it's like the equivalent of Toronto. But always really interested in food systems. And when I came to school, I was doing research on food systems. I thought that local food systems in particular were very interesting because, I mean, really three things, right? Like, I think it really genuinely matters to the world. Number one, I think it's a good thing to spend your time doing, in my case. Number two, I think it's actually a really big market. Most people, like normal folks, when they think of local food, they just think of like, I don't know, tiny little roadside stands or like, you know, small farmers markets or something like that. But like in aggregate, this is actually like a really, really, really big number of family farmers that do direct sales, right, in some way, shape, or form. And I think that there aren't the right tools that exist for those people to secure their future as independent entrepreneurs, right? So that's what we're trying to do, is give you guys the right tools that you need to go ahead and do that. Certainly you can mix and match and, you know, put some duct tape here and glue over here and find these tools and systems and things. But, you know, if it's not natively built to support your business, I think that in some cases it can be more work than it's worth. And we think it's just really important stuff to do. So we like to build tools that support you guys. Which leads me to what Localine actually is. The way that we describe it is as an online platform that helps independent farmers sell their products online, communicate with their customers, and organize their order fulfillment. What does that really mean? It means that in some cases, you'll see your average order go up by more than 42%. You'll reduce your order error. So what does that mean? It means, customers order 10 bags of carrots and you accidentally bring them 8 for whatever reason, right? It'll help with returns and refunds. It'll help sync up that communication between you and your customer. And it's going to save you a lot of time on manual entry, right? So, for example, Localine integrates with QuickBooks. So if you're used to saying, here's an order and you write it down, and then you have to, at some point later that week, open up your QuickBooks and translate a bunch of POs into QuickBooks, you don't have to do that anymore because Localine will automatically do it and sync it up. So it's going to save you actually a lot of time writing things down and a lot of time entering different data points into different systems. Perfect. Let's talk about some of the Localine features. So the main features are listed here on the left-hand side, and they can be categorized into 2 areas, right? One is, how do I get an order, right? So that's how do I list my products online? How do I get that order? Part 2, arguably more important than the online store, is what happens after I get an order, right? So after you get an order, you have to pick, pack, load, ship, invoice, and get paid on that order, right? And so that's a 6-step process that Localine's designed to support start to finish. So after order comes in, we can generate a pick list for you. We'll tell you what your inventory then is. We can tell you when it's, you can organize your shipments, tell you your routes, send an invoice, get paid, etc. And I think that's what will allow the efficiency in that back end process, I think, is what really allows you guys to capitalize on this boom right now, specifically in this period in time in the world. Is like everybody's systems are being tested. If your business is experiencing a boom in any way, you're putting a lot of pressure on those existing processes. So anything that you can do to make those processes better, faster, more efficient means the more that you can actually grow. I've gone through a little bit of the history already, so I won't do it again, but just so that you all have a sense. We have customers in every Canadian province except for the Northwest Territories, and 49 states, as well as some other interesting places around the world like Australia and New Zealand. We've got more than 200,000 users in total, right? So that includes farmers, that includes farmers markets, it includes restaurants and grocery stores and household purchasers, right? So that's sort of everybody all in. And currently there's more than 123,000 products that are like unique SKUs that are sold by farmers using Localine. Great. So let's talk about what would make somebody an ideal customer for us, because like I said, it's great if there's a short-term immediate solution for some of you are seeing a boom in your business and customers want to be able to order online. But I think that it would be good if there's also long-term fit. So spending less time on admin is a key thing. I said it previously. The idea here is that I have yet to meet a farmer that would rather spend more time inside in the office and less time outside doing what they love and doing their craft, right? Doing what they're great at. So the more time that we can help you spend on productive things on the farm, the less time that we have to have you spending on non-productive, data entry and tracking type things, the better. And so that's one of the ways that we approach product development, is just thinking about, hey, what are those things that we can effectively, take off your plate? You probably need to be looking to grow and scale. Like if you're not, that's fine. If you're totally capped out and you've got this interesting niche little business or niche little, amount of products, and you've got this loyal customer base, that's fantastic. And like, you can definitely use Localine as an online store for that if you'd like. But typically what we do is work best when there's farmers that are coming in that's saying, hey, I really want to, take this up to the next level, and I need the right tools to do that. And then, making it easy for your customers to buy. Listen, sometimes, right, if your customers are all 80 plus years old and they're not used to using technology, they're not used to making purchases online, It's not impossible, but it is going to be more challenging to get them to adopt a system like this, right? So I think it depends on who your customer base is. And in this case, if you're trying to cut down on the amount of time you're spending communicating with customers to get orders in, I'm not talking about the relationship with the customer. I'm talking about like the day-to-day minutia of, you know, how many pork chops do you have in the freezer still? If you're looking to make that more efficient, then I think that we could be a good fit. So yeah, so this is a bit of a list. Farmers who use Local-Line have the same typical daily challenges, right? So you're spending a fair amount of your time accepting orders and talking to customers through various different channels. It certainly would probably be much easier if all that information is displayed for them up front so that they can just submit their order and then it comes to you. Help you track your inventory efficiently. I won't read through the entire list. I'll make sure as well that you guys all have a copy of this presentation when we're done. But those are some reasons that, you know, you might think about using Local-Line longer term to help you. Great, so now it's going to be time for the demo. So I'm just going to jump out of here. There we go. And I'm going to quickly actually pop in on the back end here, and I'm going to walk in to a demo. So what we're going to do here is we are going to look at what it's going to be like for you guys on the back end. I'm going to send some examples of what that would be like on the front end for the customer to buy. I think that that's actually best experienced by trying to do it yourself. So I'll also send through a few links that you guys can use to you know, actually submit it like a fake order yourself so that you get the experience of what your customers are going to go through. But for right now, here we are. Just bear with me. I'm going to just pop into my back end, not your back end, for a quick moment. And I'm going to get us all set up here to show you an account. Perfect. Okay. So we're logged in here right now. And this is so when you first log into Local-Line, this is what you're going to see. When you have your accounts, they'll be blank, so they'll be less interesting to look at. But as you get data and information in there, then they'll pop up, and you'll be able to see everything going on. So this home tab, I mean, it effectively serves two purposes, right? I mean, the real idea is just to give you the 30,000 foot view of, hey, what's going on in your business. And so in this case, we're tracking on the left-hand side total products, total customers, number of orders this month. And then on the right side, it's like an activity feed, right? This is a demo account, so a lot of the actions look the same. It's all like customers placing orders here. But this will track customers when they're viewing your store. It'll track when you're sending them a catalog, which is the equivalent of sending them like an email, and a few other things. And it'll tell you any upcoming orders that you have here as well. I mean, this is all, again, listed in the orders tab, but that's what the homepage effectively is supposed to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this demo, like I said, I'm not going to go too detailed because ultimately we'll be working with each of you that decide to move forward on an individual basis. Every business is a little bit different. The products you sell are a little bit different. And so we're set up rather to support you through that process. But what I am going to do for right now is just sort of dance across these top tabs here just for a couple minutes and explain to you what they do. So this is the My Store tab. This is really the first tab that you spend, a fair amount of time in when you're setting up your account in the first place, right? So when you get to My Store, you see all products. We can add a product. You can also bulk upload products. So if you have 1,000 products, you probably shouldn't spend your time doing that one by one, right? You can actually download a template that we have, and then you can upload those products into the system all at once. You can manage your own categories. So you can categorize your products. You might have some meat products. You might have some produce products, some cheese products, etc. And then obviously, I mean, there's some delete and a few other buttons here. So this is what it sort of looks like as you have your products populated. We can see some have been turned to not visible because maybe they're not in season. We can see some are out of stock. We can manage all of our inventory. Like if we wanted to update the inventory for a product, in this case, a kombucha product, we can do that. And we notice that the product becomes available because we actually have available inventory now. The inventory isn't at 0. Adding a product is very simple. It's just filling out a form. So you click add a product in the top left. You can add a product photo. If you have product numbers, you can track them here as well. product name, whether or not it's taxable, description, etc. And then you can sort of add in if you have different packages and different prices. Great. The catalogs feature is a really important feature for Localine. So a catalog in Localine is the equivalent of a price list. And so what that means is you can have different product and price lists for different sets of customers that you're serving. So in most cases, we see it where you might have a product list or a price list for household customers, and then you might have one for restaurants, because the packaging and the pricing for those products are going to be different for those two sets of folks. And so in this case, like if we wanted to take a look at, for example, individual consumer catalog, we can open up that catalog. And in this case, because it's a demo account, we can see we just have one product listed in that catalog, but we actually have 67 products in total. So if we scroll down a little bit, by simply selecting these products, we might say we want these 4 to come into our individual consumer catalog. And when we do that, we can also make an adjustment on the base price that we entered for that product in the All Products tab. So for example, if you want to charge your consumers, your household folks 15% more, you would click the percentage, and then you would type in 15 into the box. And what you'll notice is the base price moves from what was $4 to $4.60, meaning that when those household customers order, they're going to be charged $4.60. So that's kind of how you can manage that. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but you can do the same thing with customers. So in customers, your customer list will show up on the left-hand side, and then the customers in the catalog show up on the right-hand side. So if you do want to assign some new customers over to that catalog, you can do so. Perfect. Okay, great. I see a couple chats and a couple Q&As coming in as well. So thank you. We can just sort of keep those rolling, and then I will get to them at the end. So for these last 2 tabs, so there's basically 2 options on how you can get your storefront live to your customers. Option 1 is a link that's actually hosted by Localine. So the website link is localine.ca / in this case, Penny's Market is the demo account that we're in. So I'll show you what that looks like, right? If we're in store and we click View Store, it's going to open up a tab for us here that is actually how our store looks to the customer, right? So we see we have a cover photo, in this case with some instructions on it. We've got a photo, like a profile photo. Typically folks put their logo here, but you don't have to. And then we have all of the products that are listed in the store. In this case, we're not seeing our cart because we're signed in as us and we can't order from ourselves in the system. But this is option number 1, right? So you see localine.ca / Penny's Market. Great. And so what you're seeing here is how you would customize that, all the different information that you would input, right? You can also embed the store. So if you wanted to have the store go right onto your own website, then you can do that as well. What you do is you turn in this, so it's a toggle store code, you turn it on, and then it turns the product on. And this is a preview of what the colors are going to look like. Someone, I guess, tried to make that look pretty gross, but we can customize whatever it is that you want the product to look like on your storefront. So if your branding happens to be, I don't know what, light blue, let's try to pick something not terrible. Well, okay, not great. You can customize the font, you can customize the number of products that you have on the page, etc. Whenever you're done, you can just update it and then copy the code, and you literally just go to your website and you paste it on there. We're happy to also help you with this if that's something that you'd like us to help with. Okay, moving on to the delivery. So Localine has various delivery and pickup functionality so that you guys can organize your deliveries and manage your pickups. And I'll just quickly walk you through what that looks like. In this case, in this demo account, we have a lot of different pickup locations, and you can see some of them are organized weekly, some of them are organized monthly. They all have an associated minimum purchase and a delivery fee if you would like to add a delivery fee. What it looks like to add a plan is fairly simple. If we wanted to add a delivery area for, let's say, Halifax, we could have Halifax, Nova Scotia that pops up in the drop down right there. We could instill a minimum order of maybe $100 if you'd like. And then if there is a delivery fee, maybe $5 delivery fee. You can get a little bit more complicated with it. So you could add a minimum for free delivery. So it might be a minimum of $100 and a delivery fee of $5. But let's say maybe if the customer orders $200 or more, then you won't charge them delivery. So you could, if you wanted, turn that on and add a $200 minimum for free delivery. And that's up to you. You can customize your order lead time. So if you guys need, 48 hours to be notified of when, before you deliver the order, then that's where you would put 48 hours here. And then you would list your availability. So in this case, maybe you deliver into Halifax weekly on Mondays and Thursdays, as an example. And if you want to leave a custom checkout message to the customer, you can do that as well. A lot of times what we see here is folks will leave a notification to the customer to pay them with e-transfer if that was something that they wanted. So you could say, for example, thank you for your order. Please pay by e-transfer to info@abcfarms.com. Great. So in this case, we've just gone ahead and created that delivery plan for Halifax, and you can see it right here. I won't spend too much time on the pickup locations, but it's a very similar thing. So instead of adding in a delivery area, we're actually just adding in a particular address that folks can pick up from. But a lot of the information here is the same. If you have a minimum, that's great. You can do a pickup fee, and then similar to the delivery plan for how you select your days. Awesome. Okay, so every customer that orders from you creates an account with you when they're checking out. And so all of those customers show up here. We can see some information, like if you do have sales reps, which sales rep they're assigned to, you can see which catalog they're in, and then you can see the last delivery date that they have. And then by opening up customers, so clicking view, you can also see some more information about them. So certainly you can quickly just get phone numbers and which catalog they're in, which is great. You can get a list of what they've been doing on the site. So we'll track, for example, when they view your store, when they place an order, when they're engaging with your store in any way. You can also get all of their customer info right here. You can change this info as you go. You can log an order on their behalf. So sometimes if a customer calls you or something, they're not at the computer, they can't place an order, you can still take that order and you can add it into the system here so that it'll still deduct from your inventory and it'll keep everything put together. You can send them a message if you'd like. And then this is actually a bit of a beta feature, so it's not by default going to show up on all of your accounts, but there is a store credit feature that we are working on, is almost ready to be released. So you will be able to manage store credits with those customers if that's something that you do for your business. Typically, we see this a lot with different kinds of CSAs, but certainly there might be other applications as well beyond that. Great. All of your orders show up here. They look sort of similar to what it'll be with your products and your customers, right? It's a fairly consistent layout in the system. The neat thing about the orders tab here is we give you just a lot of different functionality to download different reports and do different things. So as an example, you can see a lot of different filters here. So you can filter by customer. You can use different order tags if that's something that's relevant for you. You can filter by the status of any order, if it's outstanding or overdue or paid. You can as well search by order date or by delivery date, start date, end date, and then you can search by various pickup or delivery locations as well. So you can really filter down to get fairly specific if you need to download a pick list or something for a particular set of customers. Yeah, there's standing orders there as well, which I'll touch on in a second. So yeah, for example, on the left-hand side, you see all these check boxes here, right? If you selected one of those and then watched for these buttons at the top, right? So you select one, you'll notice that those buttons now become visible for us. We can download that order. We can download a pick list. You can download invoices, an order summary, or order totals. So those are all different reports for you guys that will be helpful at different parts of the fulfillment process. Pick list typically when you're going to pick the products, of course. Order totals maybe when customers are coming to pick up and you need to be able to quickly reference in one sheet, like customer name, order number, and the products that they had ordered. But that's a sort of good, it's a good thing to play with when you create your account, is just create a test customer, create a test order, and then go into those reports and start to mess around with them so you get a sense of what they look like. Great. Yeah, standing orders is basically for repeat orders, sorry. Okay, on the reports tab. So this gives you guys some breakdowns of customer analytics. So like what's the customers that are ordering, what percentage are they making up of your sales? You can set different targets and different date times, and then it's also going to categorize your customers and where they are and how much in total they're ordering over that period. And then you get the same thing for a location breakdown. So what cities, this is a great sort of way to take a look at what cities or areas might be overperforming or underperforming for me. And then you get the same thing with order analytics. It just looks a little bit different. So you can track your orders on a weekly basis, daily basis, monthly basis, over time. Cool. This is a messaging system. So you can actually send messages to and from your customers back and forth. It'll just send them an email saying they've got a message. If they respond to the email, it still goes back to you guys, right? So it's sort of like a synced up way to track those customer communications. But the nice thing about keeping it all in LocalLine is that you have like a highlighted area for all those conversations with the customers, because we know how easily things can get lost in the inbox. This button here, I'm not going to click on. It's a LocalLine community. It's basically an area for all of our other customers where you guys can all chat and communicate with one another. You can talk about best practices. A lot of the times we see it like maybe there's somebody that's interested in, you know, starting up a CSA for the first time. Well, there's lots of farmers that run CSAs on LocalLine, so it's a good place to go and ask some questions on best practices, or maybe some things that you are struggling with about that we are actually not experts on ourselves, but our other customers might be, so you can talk to them. This is our support center, and I'll make sure that that is linked and included to you guys after this. And then you have just some simple account settings back here, right? So you can manage your email, you can manage your notification settings. There's some features here that you can turn on or turn off. You can close your store, open your store, things like that. Great. Okay, so that is the quick overview. And like I said, happy to get into more details with each of you as you go through the program here. Let's jump back to this presentation. And we got maybe another 5-10 minutes here, and then we'll open this up for Q&A. So there's a bunch of success stories. I think we have like 25 success stories on our website, which is localline.ca, if you haven't been to it yet, to have a peek. And you can go read about all of the different farmers that are finding success using LocalLine. The cool thing about this is like LocalLine really supports a big diversity of farmer and food business, like I said earlier. So whether you're a farmer, you do meat, or you do produce, or you do cheese, or you're a butcher, or a baker, or a brewer, a vineyard, anything like that, and it doesn't matter if you're selling to households, or you're selling to restaurants, or grocery stores, or schools, or hospitals, or catering companies, or long-term care homes. Doesn't matter. There is someone already doing it on LocalLine, and we try to write about the diversity of folks that are there and how they're using the system, so that if you can likely go and read about these success stories and find someone that sort of fits what you're doing, and have a sense of what is working for them, and ultimately what's not working for them, right? I mean, like, I don't think that there's one system that's the perfect system for everybody all the time forever, right? And so there's always going to be things that you'll do yourself, or that are better or worse, or whatever. So it's we try to highlight those things. Okay, yeah. So, and I mentioned this a little bit at the start there before I had to oddly restart the webinar, and I do apologize again for that. But yeah, so Perennial has covered 100 licenses for up to a 6-month period. So that means, so the way to do this, right, is this is actually being run through Perennial. So we will be onboarding those folks that Perennial approves. I don't approve or disapprove whether your business qualifies for this, right? So the best thing to do if you would like to use the system, and if you're not sure, like, you can still make an account and test it, like to use the free trial for a couple days and see if you're sure, right? Like, you can feel out if it's the right thing for you. But if it is something that you'd like to do, then you're going to go to this link here, which is site.localline.ca/Perennial. And I'll make sure that you guys all have this. I'll post this in the chat, as well as a few other links. And you'll be able to submit a quick application form, which goes to Perennial. They will review the application and then send it to us. And then once you're approved, you'll actually end up creating your account at localline.ca/signup. And that's when my team will take over, and we will help you guys get launched. Okay, there we go. Now we're into the Q&A. So let me pull open this Q&A. Let me stop sharing the screen. Okay. Okay, Q&A. Thank you guys. Let's pull that up. Okay, so the first question from Rebecca, thank you. Our business uses Wix. Will Local-Line work to be integrated onto our website? There we go, great. Okay, thank you, yes. So yes, it will, yeah, no problem. If you use Wix, if you use WordPress, if you use Squarespace, if you use whatever other program, it's no problem. We can definitely integrate your store into that. We have some instructions in the support center that tell you exactly how to do it for each provider. So you would just say, I want to, like in the support center, you would just type in like, embed store on Wix, and that will come up, and then you can get some fairly detailed step-by-step instructions on how to do that. The one thing that I'll mention now that you bring up Wix, or just more broadly website builders, is that Local-Line is a free website builder. So it's locallinesites.com. So it's localline, sites.com. It's most closely compared to Wix. It functions in a similar way, like in terms of the layout and the usability, but it's a very, very easy drag and drop website builder. So you can, if you don't have a website, or if you are looking to change up your website, or your website's expensive and you don't want to host it anymore, you can go and you can build a Local-Line website and launch it 100% for free. We host it. We do everything for you for free. If you need to buy your own domain, it's only a $30 flat fee. And anyway, so yeah, folks can check that out as well, because sometimes just having a brand online, having a presence is a nice thing to do. And it's better if you can do it without spending a bunch of money on it. Okay, thank you. Next question. This is from Lisa. Can your system track log numbers for production, for each product, and also place a log, or place to log the tracking numbers, right, of the supplier products used in the, in the processing and production? Okay, so thanks, Lisa, for that question. I think she's really just asking about like lot tracking and batch tracking for various, in her case, sounds like suppliers. So yes, you can, but most folks do it using the tags feature, right? So that tags feature is really nice in the orders tab, like I was showing you before, because you can use it for anything that you'd like, right? So if you've got different lot numbers or batch numbers, you just add them as a tag, right? For like, you can add it as a tag for the products, where those products are coming from, and then you can add it as tags on those orders as well. So Local-Line's not a traceability solution. So there's ways that you can manage it, and there's ways that you can do this, but we're not built to be a traceability solution. So I think it probably depends on how intensive and exhaustive your use case is. If you just have to track some batch numbers, I would say that's no problem. And it's going to function very similar to any other system that you might be using, because you have to be entering these batch numbers anyway. But if you have something that's a little bit more intensive, I would want to be clear that we're not a traceability solution. So we might not have all of the functionality that you're looking for there. Okay. Next question's from Laura. Can you add FarmGate as a customer to track those sales more effectively? Yeah, that's a great question, Laura. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very common thing. We see this a lot. You can add, your FarmGate as a customer. You could add your market as a customer. We have different folks that have like different retail, like on-site retail locations. You can add them as a customer. It works right now. It's definitely no problem to do. The one thing I can say down the road, we are launching an integration with the Square POS system. So we're very close with Square. We have a good relationship with Square. They're great people, and we'll be doing an integration with them so that if you use Square as your POS and you make sales at different locations, that will sync up with your Local-Line inventory and vice versa. So we're going to get even better at it down the road. But yeah, for now, absolutely, just add FarmGate as a customer, and then at the end of the day, you go and you log your total sales, and it'll deduct the inventory and keep everything in check for you. It's a good question. Thank you. Lisa, again, thank you, Lisa. Can you embed loyalty discounts or money built up against a future order? So on the discount, so we don't have a discount codes like we don't have a dedicated discount codes feature right now. It's a highly requested thing. It's something that's on the roadmap. We will build it, in the near-ish future. Obviously, like I said, our business has had a big boom here as well, and so there's a lot that we have to do for our own performance and our own application right now that has sort of caused a little bit of a delay in some of the previous roadmap plans that we had. But in terms of money built up against a future order, that's what that store credits feature was. So that if I would, that you briefly saw there, so that's how you would use that, is if the customer prepays, for the season, or for some reason they have a credit applied to their account, you would add that credit there. And then the next time that the customer is checking out, that's when they would be asked, hey, like, you have this much store credit. Do you want to pay with store credit, or do you want to pay partially with store credit and some with credit card, or whatever the combination of the two there is? Okay, thanks, Lisa. Okay, a question from Lorenda. To connect to QuickBooks, does your QuickBooks always have to have an up-to-date version, or can it use an older version of QuickBooks? It can use an older version of QuickBooks, but it has to be QuickBooks Online. It cannot be QuickBooks Desktop. So if you are on QuickBooks Desktop, that's like a desktop software program that we don't sync up with. So it has to be QuickBooks Online. But if you are using QuickBooks Online, my understanding is that it's not a big deal if you're on an older version of it or a newer version of it. It will sync up. But certainly if there's any specific hesitations or questions about that, I can chat with anybody individually about it. And you can always test it too. Like, we can always just quickly integrate it and test it and see what we find. Lisa again, here we go. Third time's a charm. Maybe I missed it, but do you have an online cart, and can they pay through basically pay for their products online? Yes, absolutely. I'm going to send you guys some links for what the store looks like online. You'll remember that we briefly took a look at the Penny's Market online store there, and we scrolled through. We didn't see a cart there because we were logged in as ourselves, right? So like, you don't order from yourself when you're logged in as, the farmer, or logged in on the back end. But yes, customers very typically, they add their products to their cart. And then when they go to their cart, they select their associated delivery or pickup day or pickup plan. And then they go ahead and they check out. So I'll do a couple things. I'll make sure you guys get some links to see that. We also have a bunch of videos. So I'll send some videos on exactly how that works and how that looks like. Lisa, again, what are your average monthly costs for using this program? So if you'd like to be on a monthly plan to use the program, it's $60 per month. If you go annually, then you get it at a $50 per month rate. So it's equivalent of $600 over the year. And that's on a per catalog basis. So if you need more catalogs, it goes up from there. But that's how our product is priced, just generally, right? So we don't say, oh, if you're in package 1, you get like this set of features. If you're in package 2, you get like more features. In package 3, you get even more features. We say, here's the entire system upfront available for you. And the price goes up as you need more catalogs, which, as I said previously, is it's like a price list. So if you sell to different kinds of customers, right, then you might need different kinds of catalogs. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, and then, Rebecca had the same question. So there we go. You can also find all of this information on our website. So if you go to localine.ca, there's a tab at the top that says pricing. If you click pricing, then you can go and you can see all the annual pricing, the semi-annual. So we offer 6-month plans. And then you can see all the monthly pricing as well. Great. And then one more question from Rebecca. We are a food hub and potential aggregator of products from multiple farms. Is there a way for farmers to upload their inventory to Localine so we can show it is available to wholesale customers? Yeah, absolutely, Rebecca. So like, we actually have a product for food hubs. And so if you do go to the website, I would think there's a tab at the top called Food Hubs. So you can click that. And that basically does exactly what you're saying. It gives your farmers their own login to upload their own products and prices. You can have permissions to help them manage that. And that pools into one larger online store so that you can take that online store to customers and facilitate sales that way. Great. Lisa, how many catalogs are included in the startup? I think, Lisa, if I'm understanding, maybe you mean like in this, I guess, startup program. I mean, so if your license is covered by Perennial, you can, like, it's a free account. If you need 100 catalogs, you're welcome to have 100 catalogs, right? I don't know if I would always recommend 100. It's a lot to maintain, but that's up to you. So the account's available. It's an unlimited account. You can use it however you'd like to use it. But then, yeah, for sure, if Localine is working well for you and it's something that you want to continue to use, then yeah, I would think that you'll want to have an understanding of how many catalogs you have, what other features you have, what the total cost is going to be for your business coming out of this. And we have an ROI calculator. So again, on the website, if you go to the pricing page and scroll down a little bit, you're going to see an ROI calculator. So you can actually download that and answer a couple questions, and it'll give you the exact return on your investment that you should be able to predict, like that you should see if you purchase Localine, right? So we've just done studies on all of our customers. It's like, okay, if you spend $100 a month with us, what is that going to generate in new money for your business? Is it going to be $500 a month? Is it $1,000 a month? And it depends on a few different variables. So you can download that as well and take a look, and that should give you a sense of the kind of return that you could expect to see. Okay, great. So that's all our questions there. I'll give it another moment. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to go over, or any questions that they'd like to ask? We have a question about not using a website. Is it done remotely? I'm not exactly sure maybe what that means, but if I try to read into it a little bit, I would think, yes, it's done remotely. So you can manage your own website all the time, like yourself, if you use a Localine website, right? LocalineSites.com from your own location. You can do the same thing with your Localine account, right? You manage it all from your own location. You can also manage it on your phone. So a little more than half of our usage as a system actually comes from a mobile phone. So you can manage it from your phone as well, if that's what you'd like to do. Okay. Okay, so that is all of the questions then. Oh, there we go, another question. Oh, sorry, I think I missed that one, Laura, because I saw it, but I don't remember answering it. Will it work with Wave? Laura's talking about Wave, the accounting system. So it's similar to like QuickBooks or FreshBooks or something like that for those who don't know Wave. Unfortunately not right now, Laura. I'm sorry, that the only accounting system that we integrate with right now is QuickBooks. We have a fairly long list of future integrations with accounting systems and different payment systems and things like that. And Wave is on that list, so we will get to it eventually. But we do not integrate with Wave right now. Another one coming in here from Nicole. If you're using Localine as the store and website, how does it integrate with email software like MailChimp? So we do integrate with MailChimp. So if you would like to integrate and like have, like a newsletter or something like that, like for collecting on your website, right? And use that list to automatically sync up with your MailChimp, you can definitely do that. It's no problem. Okay. So I think we're maybe 5 minutes away from the original time that we had set for this anyway. So I think right now we'll sort of wrap it up unless anybody has any final comments or questions. This is a recorded webinar as well. So I'll make sure that this recording is available to you guys in case you want to rewatch it. And then I'll also make sure that I'm sending across, because I have everybody's information who registered, I'll send a bunch of links out as well so that you guys can reference some of the things that I talked about in the presentation today. Okay. So thank you all very much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. I know that it's nearing 11 a.m. on a Monday, and I know that that's a really busy time. So I'm very grateful that you guys have given me your attention here. Thank you very much. I will talk to everybody soon, I hope. Okay. Thank you. See you later.